What's up, y'all? Excited for this upcoming stream. Please hang around. We are finishing the Natalie Cochran episode. We're going to hop on right after this. So much to say. So much to say. There's several things we haven't learned yet. Most of the things we know, but there's some things that I'm going to completely unload my thoughts on. So I'm excited. I hope you all are. Please hang around. I will be right back soon. All right, y'all, we're going to fire it up early. Creepy music is pretty good, ain't it? I got it playing the rest of my phone. If you can hear it, let me know, because ABC will cut my fanny. I think they were waiting on me, because all my tests were they just started getting shut down instantly. I was going to try and live stream the whole thing, but did not work out. So let's go ahead and cut the creepy music. All right, y'all, we're finishing. Mama Bear Donna is on right now, finishing the last bit of the 2020 episode. First off, who all watched the episode? Everybody here, or is there anyone that? Because there is going to be massive amounts of spoiler alerts. Massive amounts. But thank you for joining us. Let's see how many we got. We got 30. That's pretty good. If we get up to 100 concurrently, I'm going to let you all know who we're interviewing tomorrow. So that's going to be lots of fun. Okay. All right. It's winding down. We got Donna finishing up. She did a really, really good job. Very good job. Really, really good. I think overall the episode was great. Oh, okay, so now they're showing on the episode that they created a place to honor Michael Brandon's memory, which is so nice. Oh, there's going to be huge amounts of spoilers, Donna. Huge amounts. There's one thing that we found that absolutely infuriates me. I'll just say it. Infuriates me. So we're going to talk about it. Now, y'all may know what I'm talking about, but we currently have 40. We got to get 100. All right, memorial's over. All right, looks like we are over. All right, so general thoughts. I thought it was really, really well done. Usually these things are hit and miss when it comes to West Virginia, but I got to give a shout out to ABC that, you know, they didn't play the whole poor redneck America card. It was just a really, really well told interpretation of this tragedy. So I think they did a really, really good job. I highly recommend anyone watch it. And what I loved about it, they really set it up really well. They set up the youth sports scandals, which I thought was excellent. Not a lot of people know, but those sports scandals is actually what fired this whole thing up, and unfortunately it got overshadowed eventually. With those sports scandals, I mean, there was people that lost a year and a half of just trying to clear their name, going through heavy financial audits, all kinds of. All right, 85, we get to 100. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all who we're interviewing tomorrow, so share with your friends. But anyways, those youth sports scandals, people need to hear about this stuff. And I'm hoping to have an interview where we break down the youth football and the youth baseball leagues in Shady Spring to its fullest extent, because people need to know about that stuff. A lot of heartbreak went into that. And basically, you know, that's what helped uncover this eventual Ponzi scheme. And then when that got uncovered, they kind of just said, well, forget it. You know, forget that little measly sports deal. But I mean, these people, was out money for their children to perform in sports, and their names were dragged through the mud. So, oh Lord, we're at 1:30. Okay, if we can maintain 1:30, all right, I'll definitely let y'all. I can't tell you right off. We got to wait till everyone gets on here, and then I'll let you know who we're interviewing tomorrow. If everything goes well, I hope I don't jinx it, but I'm so excited. So y'all got to hang around. But anyway, so yes, youth sports scandal. I hope to have an extensive interview. I'm talking we sit down and go 5 hours if they want to. There's so many receipts out there that people haven't even saw, but very, very good setup with this 2020 episode. Again, if you know someone who's kind of wanting to know about this, if you want to send them one thing, other than our channel, definitely send them the 2020 episode because it was really, really, really good. Thanks, Tamara, for hitting the like button. Yeah, y'all go ahead and hit the like button. We got 150 viewers. I'm glad all of you are staying up with me because I tend to, get all old and go to bed early and all that crap. But we could stay up one night and talk because I'm energized after that. But yeah, so moving on. What I really loved is Donna Bolt set up Michael Brandon's life. Like the whole first 15 minutes was Donna Bolt telling this story of her son. And I thought that was really, really rare, but excellent. Like I was very shocked that they actually did that because, typically it's hit and miss with national news, but it's really, really good. Now, one thing I did learn, I don't know if anyone else did, that Tony McCall's husband, Tony McCall, if you recall, she was promised one of those fake scholarships that Natalie Cochran was offering all these kids in Michael Cochran's name. It was like an in-memory scholarship. So you must really be sadistic. Like, you're satanic to the 10th power. If you know someone's husband died of leukemia in which you were saying you had, why you would ever think that would work in the first place, I'm not sure. But I did not know her husband died of leukemia, so very sorry for your loss, Tony, and also having to go through all this mess. But yeah, Natalie's Satan squared, knowing this information and then coming up with this fake diagnosis. So we also learned, again, this has been repeated before, but Donna Bolt talked about losing $246,000, which is just insane, heartbreaking, awful. And you mean to tell me, during the Mercy phase, it was trying to be led that Donna and Ed didn't have this relationship with, with Michael, obviously they had a good enough relationship to give $250,000. So that's just pure insanity right there. I mean, can you imagine giving someone $246,000? First off, can you imagine like a lot of people even having that much money? Now, granted, they worked their entire lives for this. That was their retirement. And Natalie just said, I'll take that. Let's see. I want a new house. I want some cars. I want to go on vacations. I mean, you got to really be heartless just to do that. And also to eventually murder your husband. It's obvious Natalie Cochran has a lot of satanic qualities. But anyway, so we learned that amount, $246,000. Again, I mentioned I love that the sports scandal was featured. That is one thing that is totally forgot about too many times, and it got national coverage. And I am so happy for those people that have reached out to me and have told me their heartbreaking stories about losing all of these funds that were meant for their kids to play baseball. And also we learned, too, in Stephanie Hamilton's interview that a bow was purchased from one of these leagues by Natalie, and they eventually had to Thanks for the super chat there. Wendy mentioned, I'm betting Natalie Cochran. Ooh, I like what you did there. Is wishing she'd take that deal right about now. Yes, I think you're correct. She was offered a plea deal that could have got her 10 to 15. So I'd say she was like, I was joking. How about that deal? And they're like, no, you lost. You lost, and it's pretty well, evident to everyone in the nation that you're a murderer. So, no take backsies. But yeah. So anyway, I sorry, I'm gonna be hopping around a little bit. I'll try to stay focused, but so yeah, what I was talking about, the bow. Stephanie Hamilton had a bow purchased for her kid from one of these sports leagues, and eventually they had to repo the bow. Confiscate the bow because they knew it came from the money that was taken from the sports league. So anyway, let me bring up my notes here. So that was Love the Sports being featured. Chris gave $511,000. I know that we need to hear that again. Obviously anyone just introduced to this case didn't realize that, but my God, dude lost $500,000. And plus, Chris and Jennifer absolutely did a fantastic job representing the whole situation. I can't wait to meet these people. Just such down-to-earth, good people. And, I know a lot of people are saying, like, who would ever agree to that? Like, listen, these are good people. They were trusting their friends, and they were trying to make a business deal and help everyone out. I know I trust my friends now, not necessarily with business deals, but everyone's different. They were really, really close, so I totally understand. How about War Dogs being mentioned that Natalie was going to use it as an onboarding video, which was like finally affirmation on the reason that this whole thing started was because Natalie Cochran watched War Dogs. And it was mentioned, I think Tony McCall mentioned it in the show, that she was actually going to use it as an onboarding video for eventual recruits. So anyway, Stacy, I got a text from you. Maybe you putting the same thing in chat. Essentially, she wouldn't have pled to what she tried to get during the mercy phase. Yeah, pretty much. The plea for 10 to 15 would have been basically what they were getting. If she would have got mercy, it would have been less, actually. It depends on if Judge Kirk would have decided for the sentence to run concurrent. All right. We're at 212, so I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all before I move on. I hope you stick around for the whole thing. But I'll go ahead and tell you, tomorrow, we are going to have in the studio Wonder Woman herself, Ashley Akerd, and also prosecutor Tom Truman are coming to the studio. We're going to have Josie sit down with me. We're going to break down the entire case, but not only the entire case. We're going to break down their careers. Like, Tom Truman is a seasoned law professional, and that's what you all saw on the and anyone that asks in chat, please let them know, so I don't have to announce it over and over. But if you see someone ask who's being interviewed, I'll go ahead and pin it here in a second. But Ashley Akerd, Tom Truman, coming in for a long, extensive interview tomorrow, and I couldn't be more excited to meet them. I'm kind of starstruck. Actually, I'm very starstruck. So it's going to be a good one. You will not want to miss it. We're going to talk about so much stuff, including unsubmitted, like evidence that was ruled inadmissible in court. So there's all kinds of things that people didn't even realize that were inadmissible. But not only that, there's so many things that I don't, maybe because of time or something, that they couldn't get to. but the jury had access to. If y'all listen to the juror interview, you'll remember hearing us talk about all of this evidence, this text evidence that they had in the deliberation room. So it's going to be huge to hear Tom and Ashley talk about it, and I hope I didn't jinx it, but I'm so excited. But we have so many more interviews coming up. I do not want to announce who they are because I don't want to jinx it. But we are going to see this through until everyone that wants to tell their story in a long format, in a comfortable environment, if people on the defense side want to come in and talk, I'm down. Let them know. If Victor and Selden want to come in, me and Josie would love to sit down and talk to them. And we can be professional. There's a lot of things we disagree about, but I think these conversations are important. The only thing we won't let anyone by with is Michael Cochran shade. If you start throwing Michael Brandon Cochran shade in the studio, you're going to have a really bad day. Because I basically have been so absorbed in this case, and Josie has as well, that we're not going to let any bull fly. So, but that being said, open call. Anyone involved that wants to tell their story and it checks out, you are totally welcome. Wear your Tom and Ashley socks, Barbara. Oh, Grinchmobile's in. There's going to be some surprises. I'm not going to say what they are, but there's going to be some surprises. So I highly suggest y'all check it out. I'm going to try and get it up by, let's see. I'm going to try my very best to get that interview up by 9 p.m. tomorrow. It's not going to be an early interview, but that's okay. It'll be there forever. Hopefully, that everyone can watch. Oh no, please not Victor. Come on, Sadie. Victor and Selden could come in, and I would love to have a conversation. Would they do it? I don't know. I mean, I've been a little harsh, but not really. I mean, some of these things are just asking for jokes. But I think we do a really fair job, especially with Josie in there kind of keeping me on track. I wouldn't be disrespectful. I would definitely be honest, but I wouldn't be disrespectful. So yeah. Anyways, so wrapping up where I was. War Dogs was mentioned as an onboarding video, which was crazy. So Natalie Cochran had goals. She apparently mentioned this. I think it was to Tony McCall again. Tony, please come on the show. There are so many things that you mentioned that I wasn't aware of that I just have to talk about. And one of them was the fact that you mentioned that Natalie said that a goal of hers was to buy a town in Africa. Oh my goodness. This was fantastic. And listen, obviously laugh disclaimer on this show. Michael Brandon Cochran lost his life. It's not a laughing matter. But you all know, if you've been keeping up with this case the entire time, that there have been so many twists. I told someone, like, we got to make Natalie Cochran pretzels. Like, if there's a bakery out there and you all kind of want to team up for a good cause, like maybe we raise some money for youth sports or something, let's make Natalie Cochran pretzels, because there are so many twists in this thing. That's kind of like what I said. If she would have testified, she would have been twisted into oblivion. Oblivion. As much as you can show someone is lying, that's what would have happened with her testimony. It would have been crazy. So yes, Natalie Cochran pretzels. If there's a local bakery out there, let's do some good, raise some money for youth sports, and sell these bad boys. But yes, Natalie had goals, apparently, to buy a town in Africa. As we know from the Mercy phase, there were many trips to Zambia. There wasn't trips to Zambia. I don't know the tie there. Like, there's a lot of money given, a lot of different things. I'm not sure. But this kind of tied more of that in. I mean, now listen, obviously we want Africa to prosper. I want all nations to prosper. But yeah, how odd is that? Like, oh, hey Natalie, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Hey, you have any goals or aspirations for that business where you're selling weapons to the government? I don't know. I kind of thought, like, I kind of want to buy this town in Africa and, like, save some kids. And there's like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Well, you better sell enough Berettas next month. That way you can be on your way to your dream goal of owning an African town. So I don't know. That was crazy. And next, I don't know if you all noticed that watched, but who all noticed all the diabetes commercials? It was just really, really odd how many times I saw a diabetes commercial during this thing. I don't know if that was meant to be. I mean, I know most people have diabetes. There's a lot of people out there that's suffering from this disease, me included, type 1, shout out. If you're a diabetic, put it in the chat, please. Let's show people that more people's pancreases don't work than do. I mean, I think it's time to prove that. But, so yeah, a lot of diabetes commercials. Next, who all noticed this? All right, so I'm going to bring up on this other screen over here while we're talking. I'm going to try not to blow up the chat here. I'm going to bring up a screen showing this show. And stick around. We have so many good things ahead. This isn't even the biggest revelation, I feel, of the entire show. But there is this commercial for this show called Scamanda? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I'm going to look it up. There is okay, here we go. Tell me if this wasn't planned. So I have this show brought up. So I have like a Rotten Tomatoes overview of this show. Let me show you here what I'm looking at. Okay, so let's do a little picture-in-picture. So there's this show called Scamanda, and they showed this episode coming up where it says, as friends and supporters get letters from the Department of Justice, Amanda continues to insist that she has cancer. When charges are filed, Amanda has her day in court. So, how much do you want to bet that Natalie Cochran inspired this episode? I'm just going to take a guess. I'm pretty positive. If you look, she's on there like shaving her head and like, and there's wire fraud mentioned and like the feds raid her house. There is no way that that's a coincidence. I mean, anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. So I was watching commercials too. Now, I didn't hear any mention of like someone getting murdered by insulin. If that was the case, I mean, they just wouldn't have any kind of, I mean, it just would have been obvious what was going on. Oh, yeah. Someone mentioned Scamanda also used leukemia as her cancer. And if anyone that has been following the show knows, the show, I mean, it's about like a show. But as anyone who's been following the Natalie Cochran saga knows, Natalie said she had leukemia. So anyway, I thought that was really, really weird. All right, next we have, so I think it was, hey Josie, everyone say hey to Josie. Josie has entered the chat. I think we're up to 230, which is 226, which is awesome. Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate y'all staying up on this beautiful Valentine's Day. I bought my wife an Apple Watch. and she bought me all kinds of goodies with the socks. So she actually bought me Judge Kirk socks. She bought me socks with all 4 of the lawyers on it. And she bought me some Creepalachia socks. So that was really, really nice. Anyway, so I think it was Tony McCall again with all the revelations. Tony McCall, ABC should give you the MVP award because what would it be called? MVI award, Most Valuable Interview. Because you gave all the revelations. And another one was that Natalie Cochran flipped her hair over and said, hey, look at this bald spot. And she showed her this bald spot on her hair because, you know, when you have cancer and you go through chemo, you typically have hair loss. So Natalie, you know, I guess she didn't want to go full Britney Spears. She just decided to shave a little spot out of her head and then be like, look at this shaved spot in my head. But it had a 5 o'clock shadow, which, I mean, again, is hilarious. So anyway, that was crazy. And another mention of the scholarship in Michael Cochran's memory, which is just sadistic. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know a lot of things. But I definitely don't know how you even fathom coming up with this idea, knowing, first off, you can't fund it, because Josie showed during one of our interviews that she didn't have enough money to cover the scholarships in her account that she promised, even if her bank accounts weren't frozen. So I don't even fathom how you do that. So anyway, moving on. So another thing that I learned that I did not know is that Natalie almost sold the business before the raid, where, you know, Stephanie and John saw the flatbeds and was like, what's going on? So I didn't know she almost sold the business for $4 million, which I guess, you know, if you're that person that's like looking at the fake accounting reports, you're like, oh, this looks pretty good. Oh, I see you got $1.8 billion on the upcoming thing, and you want to sell it for $4 million? Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, she kind of felt the walls were closing in and almost sold her business for $4 million. So anyone out there, you know, and I'm sure you did. I'm sure there were some things we didn't know about, but please do your diligence before you buy any business selling weapons to the government. Make sure you know and are fully prepared for what you're getting into. All right, so moving on. We got, again, they mentioned that the youth sports leagues, there was no recoup of the money at all. And we're going to take Q&A here in a minute, so save all your Q&A questions. We're going to do a full Q&A session as long as the broadband holds up. But yes, anyway, they do mention that the youth sports programs were completely up creek without a paddle, unfortunately. So, you know, if donate to your local sports league, and let's do it this way. Like, you know, offer to buy them meals or buy their uniforms or anything tangible. Now, granted, you know, 99.9999999% of youth sports leagues, the money actually goes to what it's supposed to go, and not, you know, your custom Gucci bags and, you know, your trips to Paris. But, you know, nobody's perfect. So anyway, so yeah, they mentioned that no recoup of money, and insulin bottle picture resolution. I'm gonna need 10 minutes on that. I'm gonna get back to this. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. I'm gonna bring up Facebook page, and I know I'm a little pixelated, but I think it's hanging on, hopefully. But I'm gonna show you the main problem I had, this whole show. Now, this isn't a problem against ABC. This is a problem against the defense. There were some very disingenuous things going on, and I don't like it. But we're going to talk about it, in my opinion. So, yeah, something I didn't like, they showed Michael on the floor a lot, and they showed him in the hospital and while he was unconscious. And I understand why, but I know we have to see this, but I just, obviously that hurts to see that. And also, I have a note here, love Chris and Jennifer. Everyone that spoke did an awesome job. Now, there was no one from the defense, which, I get it why they weren't, because they believe a narrative completely different to what a majority of us know as the truth. And that's fine. I get that. Support your family, all of that, while you're supporting others in not supporting things that aren't the truth, if that makes sense. But, so yeah, Donna did absolutely exceptional, held herself together, told an amazing setup story of Michael Brandon and him growing up. Tony, you did exceptional as well. Josie, shout out, killed it. I don't like that they didn't show the prosecutors a lot, but we're going to make up for that tomorrow. I don't know if y'all noticed, the prosecutors weren't showed like really at all, but that's okay. Again, they showed some court tape and stuff like that. But you can only show so much, and the most important people that did interviews, I feel, got heavy screen time, and they should have. But Chris and Jennifer Davis, again, love these people. They did so well. They held it together and told their truth, and did a really, really, really good job. All right, so now we're going to get into some bullshit. So I don't know who all noticed, and thankfully a viewer sent this in. I need to give them a shout out. Let me see here. They won't care that I shout them out because they commented publicly. And so people know, you send me stuff, I hold myself to journalism standards. I will not tell anyone anything you don't want to be told. And if it's an interview where, everything's on the table, you're going to know it. And I know Josie operates the same way. Anything public is stuff that I've received permission to go public with. So anyway, let's see. Taylor Nicole Williams, shout out, sent me a photo. And I missed this originally because I'm like making memes and I'm like coming up with funny little one-liners to say to get people laughing and get people interested. And I missed this one. And it was, how do I do this? I tell you what, give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and screenshot this so I won't have any random texts popping up during my live stream. But with this screenshot, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So give me 1 second here. But basically, to kind of set it up before I show you the photo, basically they showed a high-res version of a photo that I missed during the actual trial. And they showed this during the actual trial because I went back and I found, and it's the exact same photo. I wanted to make sure I was correct with this constructive criticism. But let me go ahead and show my screen here. So we got the insulin. Oh, hang on. Oop. Okay, so we got the insulin bottle. And basically what we're looking at here is on the left is a photo that 2020 showed. And as you can tell, it's super high res. And what's one thing that we see that we didn't necessarily see in court? And I'll explain why in a second. You see this line? All right, I hope that's not too pixelated. This line here shows you where the bottle of insulin, the level that the insulin was at. As you can see, it is not up top. It is at the bottom. So what does this tell me, kids? That's right. There is a ton of insulin that has been removed from this bottle. So, what's the issue here? Yeah, of course the insulin's gone out of the bottle. But if you watch the trial, you'll know the issue here. So on the right, you see the photo that I also missed in court. I didn't know they showed the same. It's the same photo. You can look. You see the shadows and everything. It's the same photo. And you can see there that the line was present. Now, I missed this during the original trial, but again, it's fuzzy. Very fuzzy. Obviously, watching live, very, very fuzzy. But they showed a different angle. And this is the deceptive part. Now, I don't have the picture of the other angle. But basically, imagine like seeing a different angle of this where you can't see the line there. So they show a different angle where you can't see the line. And then they're kind of like insinuating and pointing like you can't really tell that it's... You can't tell that there's been insulin taken out of this, can you? I'm going to just give my West Virginia accent here. You know, I have it anyway, but I'm going to give like a heavy one. You can just tell that you can just tell this bottle, you can't tell how much insulin's in there, can you? It's kind of not verbatim at all. I mean, this is completely not what was said, but it's close. You can tell that there's insulin that you can't tell if that's full or not, can you? Can you? You can't tell. Look at the top of that. You can't tell if that's full or not. Can you tell? I can't tell. That's basically what happened for like 15 minutes. And I was like, well, watching it, I was like, well, you know, okay, you can't really tell, but I didn't realize they showed this photo before that because, you know, I'm a diabetic. I got to go eat and stuff, so I must have missed it. But, so they're kind of doing this deceptive thing. I don't know how I feel about this because you can plainly see that there has been, let's just take a guess. I'm going to take a guess. So if you look at this bottle, me being a diabetic, using my diabetic knowledge, I use Humalog too. This is the same insulin I use. So the amount of insulin in one bottle is 1,000 units. So looking at this bottle, it's what? About, let's give them benefit of the doubt and say it's 60% full. So, me doing math, because I occasionally math, if 1,000 unit bottle is 60% full, then class, how much insulin has approximately been removed from said bottle? If you said 400 units, you're right. Now, they're also asking during the trial, good job, Forrest. I have a little bit of a lag here, so y'all bear with me. But they're also saying during the trial, like, how much is a unit? Well, it's, you know, yay big. I mean, you know, isn't it true? We don't know. I mean, I think I even heard on there that Humalog doesn't kill a body, which is crazy. Which was crazy. But, you know, people, like, let things slip, but not in a murder trial. But, so it's like, it's true. We don't know how many units kill a body, do we? And then they would ask, like, how many units does it take to kill somebody? And be like, well, I don't know. It depends on the body, which it does. So, you know, nothing wrong with that. But, you know, basically how you can look at it, 400 units would kill, you know, I don't know, everyone in that house that visited the house. Now, all we know is that there was a new bottle delivered that morning. Now, granted, here's where the benefit of the doubt comes in. They took this bottle when the FBI or whatever raided Natalie. And, she came out to Stephanie. She said, oh, God, they're taking everything. They even took the insulin in the fridge that I had for, Chris and Jennifer's son. And Stephanie's like, oh, even the insulin. First off, that's weird. But second, so benefit of the doubt there. Maybe she, took a little bit out and shot it somewhere else just to say, hey, look, I've used this several times. I don't know. I don't know why she kept the bottle. Someone mentioned potential trophy. I don't know. We'll never know. But we do know that a new bottle came that morning that Michael fell out and started his eventual path to passing away the same day. So that's what we do know. So, like I mentioned in my previous theory, I'm pretty sure what happened is he got given some medication and went to sleep, and she probably loaded up. I'm guessing she probably had a 50-unit needle. This is totally a guess, but a standard diabetic needle is 50 units. They do have 100 units too, but not many diabetics use that. But I think that she put him to sleep because there was text messages saying that he took 2 of my blood pressure pills. So she was kind of planting an alibi of like, this is why there's going to be, sleep medication in his system. And then she shot him up with every bit of 50 units. That's my guess. So anyway, the bottle definitely represents at least 50 units being gone. So anyway, I think that was deceptive. And let's go ahead and fire up Q&A. We're going to do probably around, I'll stay up as long as y'all want, as long as we have stuff to talk about. But that was the main thing. While you all are laying your Q&A questions out, let me see if I can do that in a fancy way. Start Q&A. Okay. There we go. Do I start? Let's see. I'll answer your questions live. Okay, we're going to start this Q&A. I'm going to start a poll too. Oh, what is this? End Q&A. Confirm. I hope I didn't just screw everything up. Hang on. Okay, yeah. Y'all go ahead and post Q&A in the chat, and I'll get to them. I hit something that kind of screwed everything up. But I'm going to do a poll. Did you like the 2020 episode? Yes or no? Let's see. So anyway, overall, my overall opinion was it's really good. Really good. Usually national narratives are terrible. This one was not so terrible. Shout out to ABC on the production. Very, very good. And they did it quick, too. A lot of these interviews were done like a week and a half ago. So, I think killer job. I mean, no pun intended there. But, and of course, like they've done 2020 for like 40 years or something like that. So they know what they're doing. But even still, to come in and really get things right, they got the story right. They didn't twist the narrative. They showed the facts. They laid the story out. And now there's going to be a really good national piece that's going to fire off all these other national pieces. They're going to start firing off like crazy now. And we're going to have interviews until we're interviewed out and no one else wants to talk, but very, very good episode. So going to the questions here, we're going to go first with Tamara. Why can't Ed visit Michael Brandon's grave? I'm not sure on that one. I'd love to have Ed on and ask, but can't really speculate on. I mean, I'm sure it's just a very painful thing, unless there's something I missed there toward the end of the episode that's specific. OnlyFans says, what do you think her appeal chances are? I mean, Natalie's going to appeal until the end of time. And before I keep going, y'all be sure to like this video. I see we have 222 people. Thank you for joining us. Please just go ahead and hit a like on this video. Let's see if we can get that to 223 likes. And I really appreciate you joining and listening to me babble for about an hour. But yeah, her appeal chances are trash unless she comes up. I mean, essentially, there is so much evidence against her that, you know, all of her appeals currently, and Josie, if you're still on here, feel free to hop in, but all of her appeals currently are process-based, if that makes sense. I'm not a lawyer, but they're basically like, well, they shouldn't, like literally one of them was Donna Bolt shouldn't have showed photos before her mercy plea, which was, I mean, can we let people just show the freaking photos already? Like, I know why the judge couldn't allow it after the objection. I think he totally would have allowed it if nothing was said, but can we just let Donna show the freaking photos already? But, you know, there's nothing really substantial. I mean, to me, in my college dropout self, I think the only possible way she could be granted a new trial would be if she not only provided DNA that pointed away from her doing it, like literally finding a needle with someone's thumbprint on it that like they can prove was used 6 years ago, but shows you who it actually was. Now, will that happen? No, because we know she murdered him. She knows she murdered him. But they're going to try and find some technicality. And thankfully, the court system was so professional that I think it's going to be an impossibility. But obviously, she's going to run it through every court, everywhere she can possibly go. She's going to try to appeal because what else is there to do besides 3 hots and a cot and 23 and 1 and, you know, maybe learning to play chess? That's what I would suggest. It is probably the greatest game ever created. But yeah, very low chance. All right, so we have a question, and people are putting the questions in there before their question answer, or before that helps me narrow them down with all the chat. So Eric Farley asks, what could her end game have possibly been? Is there no chance of a retrial or whatever since it's went national now? What about the 25th date? So, Ashley, could you answer the 25th date exactly? I don't want to get that wrong on February 25th, what's going on. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do not believe that that has anything to do with the appeal she filed. But, again, reiterating, there's a very little chance of a retrial. Like, I'm not going to say no chance because I would never say that. But with the substantial amount of evidence that was given, the substantial amount that wasn't even shown in court but was admitted, and this substantial amount that may possibly be admissible later, probably not, but I mean, I just, there's no way. There's no way. And Ashley mentioned that she may be able to answer the question about the grave tomorrow. So excited, Ashley! It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to make so many jokes. I hope Tom has a good sense of humor because I got some stuff planned and it's going to be fun. All right, another question. Wendy Whitney asks, do you think Natalie was a lying con all her life? Or was there a catalyst in her life that caused all of this? Obviously, this is speculation. I believe Natalie, and this is some show and tell here. So again, I dropped out of college. I mined coal for 9 years. Now, granted, coal miners are some of the smartest people you will ever meet. They're out there. Now, there's some dumb ones out there, but not many. You know, but there's dumb people everywhere. And, you know, I would call out some former workers, but I love them. I would never do that. So I believe that Natalie Cochran is called what is let me get this right. The dark triad of personality. And I think that she has exhibited, if that's a word, a lot of these traits. in her life, but I think ultimately the stress induced environment of her obviously running this fake scheme. She may have started the scheme with good intentions, She may have started it thinking like, oh, I'm going to do a lot of good for the community. I'm going to do this and that. But then she started realizing like, oh, this is going to blow up in everyone's face. What do I do? And then it just spiraled out of control. But dark triad of personality, which is Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy. So you get those things together. I think you get Natalie Cochran, and you have a person who will hurt and not feel it, except when it only involves them. And that's just my opinion. So I think that those traits were there in different ways her entire life, but I think it took this as a catalyst, like you mentioned, in creating this spiral of insanity. And unfortunately, all her friends and Michael bared the brunt of it. So, yeah. So, let's see. Another question we have from Penny Fortin. It says, I counted the objections during the mercy phase. Defense objected 18 times, 6 alone for mom. Let's see. I counted the objections during the mercy phase. Defense objected 18 times, 6 alone for the mom. So, yeah, defense objected a lot during the mercy phase, and I didn't like that. But, say about Selden and Victor, they, kept the strategy until the end. Say what you want about them, but they kept it going. Oh, hang on. I'm frozen. Sorry, y'all. I was frozen. Didn't even realize it. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm trying this new program. I was going to show y'all that hopefully the audio didn't freeze. If the audio froze, I'm so sorry. I was trying to show you all my screen, and for some reason it locks up when I hit that button. So I'm not going to hit that button no more. So anyways, hope you heard all that dark triad personality crap. If you didn't, let me know, because I'll touch back on it. But I think we're back now. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think we're back. Okay. Whew. Audio was fine. Thank goodness. All right. I don't have to repeat myself. Where was I? Lord Jesus. Let me go back. Let me make sure. Oh, yeah, the objections in the mercy phase. So, yeah, I thought it was, I thought it wasn't in good taste. But, again, I'm not her lawyer. So, they tried till the end. So, I didn't like it either. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? Stuff I posted. Showed him in the floor. Let's see. Let me make sure I got everybody's. Says, yeah, go ahead and tag me in your question. So I wonder if Victor objected so much because of the complaint filed against the previous attorney for not objecting enough. Could be, Stacy. I'm not sure. Who knew Creepalachia was a ventriloquist? Yeah, I'm a man of many talents. Let me try this Q&A option again. Let's see how our poll resulted. So we have 65 votes, 97% yes, they did like the 2020 episode. I enjoyed it as well. Thought it was really good. If anyone else wants to answer the poll, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and let's try to actually do this actual Q&A function. I'm going to see if this works. Ask away. Okay, let's see what we got here. So we got Q&A, end Q&A. I'm not even sure. I'm not even going to act like I know what I'm doing, to be honest. This will remove all the questions in the question list. Okay. You know what I should have did? I should have turned that on first. I screwed it up, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm learning. All right, so I guess that's good. If everyone's good, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I appreciate you all joining us for this. We're going to do many, many lives in the future. I'm looking for ideas on what to do for lives. So if you have any cool ideas, let me know. If you are one of the 200 viewers that have not hit like yet, go ahead and do so. Again, I appreciate you all being here. We are going to see this thing through till the very end, till everyone knows Michael Brandon Cochran's story, till everyone that was involved with this, no matter if it's the youth sports scandal, no matter if it's on the defensive side or the prosecution side, we're going to give everyone a chance to talk, and there may be another special interview Monday. I'll tell you what, if we can get it to 220, I'll tell you who we're interviewing Monday. 220. Can we do it? I don't think we can. I think you're going to have to wait. We got 182. I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, look out Monday. There's going to be another one coming. That's going to be a good one. But yeah, anyways, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Creepalachia if you haven't already. If you're listening to the podcast version, be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. TikTok is becoming really, really, we're getting a really good following there. I think we're up to 23,000 followers on TikTok, so that's super cool. I hope to do streams there as well. And I appreciate you all. Thank you for following the channel, and I'm so grateful. Really, on a serious note, I started this thing as just, a passion project, and I wanted to see if eventually it would grow into something that I could turn into a sustainable business. And because of the community, we're on our way. I think it's going to be possible if I don't screw it up. So thank you all. Hope you have a good night. Thanks for staying up with me.